All right, this is how you do a banded one-arm press with the jammer arms. And right off the top, it's pretty likely that you don't have this piece of equipment, and that is just fine. I will give you alternatives to this movement that are very good movements. You're not losing anything by doing an alternative to this one. But this setup here, I use a band on these jammer arms because the very first part of this press has very little resistance, just like this. If this isn't going against gravity, there's not a lot of resistance, so this band helps there be a little more resistance through the full range of motion. Now I also have an actual weight on here. You can do combined band and weight like this. You can use just band tension, but I wouldn't use just the weight itself. I wouldn't try to hook up a band on this. And the way I have that set up is I take the catches of the rack and attach here with the band, with a little peg here. So we have the band, we have the catch set up right level with where the weight would be, so it's straight horizontal with this band. So, now that you got the setup, get to the press. Now we're throwing this like a backhand punch, all right? And with that in mind, a lot of this movement is for not just the pressing muscles, but the whole structure that creates power when you're throwing a punch. So leg, hip, core, all of this here. So when you're doing this movement, think a lot about this core brace. Think about your good mechanics of throwing a two, staying up on the ball of the foot, keeping everything square here, not stank footing it out to the side, pressing up on the ball of the foot, feet pointed forward, strong through the hips, through the core. And when we get to the top of the movement, you want to turn that shoulder over to cover the chin at the top. Reach the shoulder and lean into the weight. So getting set up here, step forward far enough that the handle is on the shoulder and this thing's not touching the rack. So you have a little bit of tension right at the start here. And again, knees are bent. I'm up on the ball of the foot here. You press, reach at the top. Turn that shoulder over, strong through the abs, strong through the hip. Control back down to the shoulder. And you can press up as hard as you want here. But what we don't want to see is leaning away from the weight here. So not going here and leaning away at any part of the movement. Even if you kind of come back to that reach at the top, try not to have that lean back and back into it. Sit down on it, strong with the abs, strong through the hip. Reach the shoulder at the top. Control down. Reach the shoulder at the top. Strong abs, strong hips, strong core. Remember to switch the feet when you go to the other side. The handle touches the shoulder, stepping forward just far enough that this isn't touching the rack here. Strong abs, strong core. Sit down on it. Reach through the top. Reach through the top, turn the shoulder over, controlling back down through the shoulder. One more thing, make sure that you're not leaning back or like getting space here or letting the shoulder come back away from the handle. Each rep should return to handle touching the shoulder, not coming back and then leaning the body back and then going into the next rep. No lean back here. Just strong here, the whole body doesn't move, it's just the press. Okay, so if you can't do this setup, that's just fine. We're gonna do a one-arm landmine press. Let me make a quick adjustment right here. So, this thing here, that's a landmine. And you may not have one of these attachments, that's fine. You can take the other end of the barbell and just put it in a corner somewhere where it'll be stationary and it won't slide on you. But it's nice to have that actual landmine attachment. I put this weight up on a box here so I don't have to lift it every time. But again, that's not necessary. That's just me being lazy. But again, you set up pretty much the same way. The pressing hand will be foot back. You gotta step this off a little bit so you're not running into the box. But again, make sure the toes are pointed at the other end of the bar, at the landmine here. Take a grip that's far enough up the bar that the landmine can touch the shoulder right here. But again, same way. You don't want to shift and turn and have the hips moving and the shoulders dipping. Everything's just real tight, strong here. You can come up with power, but not at the expense of position. You shouldn't shift the hips or dip the shoulders. You should be tight, strong abs, strong legs, strict press, turn the shoulder over at the top, control down, touch, reach at the top. And that is the banded one-arm press on a jammer.